The Institute for Social Research at the University of Michigan is one of the largest social science research centers in the world. It goes back to 1949, founded by some visionary social scientists.
ISR is closely tied to highly ranked social science departments like psychology, sociology, political science, and economics, as well as working collaboratively across the University of Michigan in departments like medicine, engineering, and public health.
The Institute for Social Research depends completely on external grants. We get about $120 million a year. The biggest source of that is the National Institutes of Health, and the biggest source within that is the National Institute on Aging. We're best known for doing research built around the collection of household surveys. That was something really designed here and developed here in the 1950s.
This administration today, here and now, declares unconditional war on poverty in America.
The Panel Study of Income Dynamics, or PSID, was started by President Lyndon B. Johnson to better understand the dynamics of poverty. It would celebrate its 50th anniversary in 2018.
They started the PSID back in 1968 and followed this group of 5,000 families and have followed them over the past 50 years. So we have a huge genealogical design of families. In fact, it's the world's longest running nationally representative household paneled survey. There are about 3,700 people who are in the survey today who were also in 1968. The PSID has data on the wealth of people over time. So some people at the bottom, where most of their wealth is nothing, or they have debt, you've found that their actual wealth over the past 30 years has fallen over time, whereas people at the top of the distribution, what we might call the 90th percentile, people with more wealth than 90% of the population, their wealth has increased over time. And so that gap has increased. But the PSID, you can look at the gap if it's increased for whites or blacks or higher education or lower education or by occupation or even by health status. You can go to our website, psid.org, go click on Register to be Data User and download all the data for the entire 50-year period.
Another major national longitudinal study is the Health and Retirement Study. Launched by an act of Congress in 1990, the study collects data on health and economics of U.S. adults.
It was the feeling that, especially with the aging of the baby boom generation, that a better understanding of the reasons that people might retire and how long people are working and how the interaction between health, family, and work affects the decision to retire, as well as how does retirement affect one's health afterward. So the Health and Retirement Study has provided data that allowed us to estimate about how much the economic impact of dementia is. The estimate was about $200 billion per year, which we think is actually even higher than the economic impact of things like cancer and heart disease.
Since 2006, biomarker samples are collected as part of the study, some of which are stored on-site in the ISR's own biospecimen laboratory. Having biological data allows researchers to tap into a large number of assays and measures that have been used in medical research to help us better understand health and well-being. Big data also plays a role at the ISR's National Archive of Computerized Data, or NACDA, one of the largest repositories of data on aging and the life course in the world.
It's been continuously funded by the federal government since 1978 and contains about 1,600 different studies. We have a lot of government data sources, such as the Health Interview Survey going back to the 1960s, mortality data. We have every death in the United States since the 1960s, and a lot of information on retirement, health, and transitions in aging. More recently, we've begun to develop collections in biomedical research, particularly things that look at the life course and population health issues. Over the past 5 years, we've collaborated with over 800 universities and research institutes worldwide.
ISR also houses the Home Lab, a unique research space connected to an elevated observation platform. Medical, behavioral, and engineering researchers collaborate to explore the connections between biology and behavior.
What brought us together is a desire to develop new methods to be able to get a better understanding of how behavior and biology interplay with each other and influence each other. We're just as much about trying to use the lab to make new discoveries as we are to develop the tools that enable the new discoveries.
Dr. Gonzalez and I are just beginning some research using this wonderful home lab, which is like a standardized real-life apartment. And we can ask people to do these tasks, to lift up pots, and we can manipulate the weight. We can ask people about, picking up a laundry basket, and walking it into the laundry and loading up the washing machine. We can ask them about that. Do you have any difficulties? And then we can actually observe them.
This research gets disseminated to a very wide audience. We don't even give our own researchers a head start in working with the data. As soon as it's ready to go, it's out there ready to download for anybody who registers and uses the data free of charge. I see it as a commitment both to the funders of the research, but I view it also as a commitment to the respondents. Some of them have been doing this for over 50 years. And I think we owe it to them to make maximal value of the data. We get it out there for everybody else to work with from different perspectives, check other people's results. I think it's social science at its best.